Hello, lovely people. My name is Divine, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, before we go any further, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell beside it. And let's get to it. So, today's topic may sound a bit funny considering that I don't have kids myself. But what motivated me to record this video is me having realized that the older I've been growing up, the more I realized that certain issues I've had to deal with in my life started from when I was still a kid myself. And so I realized that if maybe certain things had been handled differently by people who were with me at that time of my life, or certain things I wish I had known to do even as a kid myself, if I can share that knowledge with other people, then it would be useful. And I realized that if those issues are not dealt with at some point in our lives, there's a likelihood that we'll hear other people continue to say that we have such issues, and that idea of those issues being a part of us will continue to be reinforced in our minds, and we don't want that. So I decided to put together a number of tips concerning how to deal with children, or how to talk to children, basically. Not only children, but if you're watching this and maybe sometimes you're not conscious of how you talk to other people or what you say about what they do or their behavior, etc., it could also come in handy for you. So, firstly, I would like to say, according to this topic, when you speak to children, right, try to approach things from a positive point of view all the time. And the reason I say this is that oftentimes, let's say a child has a certain problem, let's say maybe their weight, something more common. You may hear something like, this one is big, this one likes to eat a lot and stuff like that. But the thing is, what are you actually doing, maybe as the parent or as the guardian of the child, to help them to be healthier or to be better and to get out of the problem that they have? All right, if it is a problem, or if it hinders them from performing better in their lives. Right. And another thing, maybe, for example, saying, this one is stingy. Why don't you try maybe saying, you should learn to give more, and teach them also by being exemplary yourself, knowing that you're raising a child who is watching you as an older person. And personally, I had an experience as a child where I basically was quite slow in terms of how I used to do things, or let's say doing household chores, for example. So I often heard people say, she is slow, she's like this, she's like that, she's dull, those two words. So not only did it hurt me as a child back then, even as I grew older, I continued to hear the same words in the back of my mind, And I realized that me having been told those things did not change me to start acting faster or to start doing better. I just continue to do the same thing. The Bible says, train up a child in the way in which he should go, and when he's older, he will not depart from it. So when you continue to tell your child those negative things about them, what are you training them? Basically, you're not training them to do any better, but you continue to reinforce in their minds that they have that problem. So I decided to I thought about it now that I was a bit older, that what would actually make me so slow when I was doing things. And I realized that I had a problem of quickly losing my concentration. Sometimes, let's say I was doing the dishes, one moment I've started and I'm a bit quick, and then maybe a few minutes down the line, my mind is somewhere else. I'm not even where I am and in the moment of doing what I'm actually doing. Maybe the next wake-up call would be somebody calling me and saying, Divine, you're still doing the dishes. And as I grew older, I realized that it was actually a problem that I needed help with but never got, because I believe people who were with me at that time, they did not know, they also were not well informed about what it is that I needed to deal with, and that a thing of being slow was just a symptom of it. It was a concentration and an attention deficit kind of thing. And I've had to deal with it over time myself, and realizing that it's actually something that I can change. But that I came to that realization a few years later. Anyway, so the point here was, always try to come from a more positive point of view when addressing an issue that a child has, so that they also feel that they're being told from a point of love, and that they will need to change so that they become better. Second tip is, tell them that their dreams are possible, and support them and encourage them. Sometimes as older people, when children tell us what they want to do, what they want to achieve in life, it's easier to think, it's just a dream. We're all there. But you never know. Dreams do come true, actually. And they don't magically come true. If you look at many people who have achieved certain things in life, although not all of them, but many of them, is because they had people who believed in them, people who believed they could do it, even sometimes when they themselves doubted. Anyway, tip number 3, instead of having a habit of talking about the child's bad deeds or the things they've been doing wrong all along, try to also talk more about the good things that they've been doing, and to let them know that that they can always do good, because I don't know if you've realized this, but let's say a child is stubborn, right? Let me put it that way. And then continuously, as that child grows, people continue to say, this one is very stubborn, this one is, very talkative and everything. That's not what will actually help the child to change. No, the child will most probably just continue being the same way, and even into adulthood, and people just feel like, we've always known this child to be like this. But instead of addressing it that way, why not try to remind them of the good things that they have done, and to tell them when they've done wrong, to say, no, I don't want you to continue doing this because it's wrong. However, you remember you have done this and this and this other good thing before. You can still do better even in this area. They'll understand, and they'll begin to want to do better. They need that motivation and that push in the right direction. Another thing is that it's those approaches in which you address anything to do with that child is what will become a part of their memories of their childhood, and a part of their experience of the experience of their childhood. And those are the things that they will remember. Not always what you used to say, but how you used to put it, and how you used to help them become whom you wanted them to be, So it does help. And another thing I wanted to say also, which is important, and I still want to say, is discuss important topics with children. That includes money, that includes even general stuff. That will also depend on different stages of their lives as they grow older. And another one I wanted to mention that I had kind of gone on hold before mentioning is sex. The reason I'm saying that is, I think we've all realized that the older we grow, or the more the generations continue to come, the more things are changing in the world today. When I was growing up, when I was much younger, I didn't really have much access to the internet. In fact, I didn't even know what internet was. But now, my younger sister, who is about 8 years younger than me, already knows what the internet is, and they already have access to it, even with us knowing or not knowing. Not only that, they'll also come across other children at school or anywhere else who have access to all these things that can be found on the internet, for example. And if the people who grew up with those children don't talk to them about those things, they definitely will learn about them in those other areas where other kids watch them and talk about them, or even from other completely different people we do not know. So being a good influence in your child's life, or your sibling or your nephew or your niece, you want to try to give them the right information about those things. And when they begin to learn about such things at a younger age, it becomes easier for them to a certain extent, to have more knowledge about those things even as they continue to grow older. Okay, so I tried to summarize them, even though I know I talk a lot. But if you'd like, I can still do another video just expanding on some of these points, so that I express myself better and also help you understand exactly what I've been talking about. Anyway, today's video was just about trying to summarize the different tips that I had about how to talk to your kid. Love you all. Take care.